Alright, so I made some components and we're going to try to get up into space. I've loaded this with a little over 10,000 steel plates, a couple thousand interior plates, various other things, enough stuff to build some solar panels, batteries, that sort of stuff. I added a couple of solar panels on here so that hopefully we'll get a little bit of power and it kind of squares up the rear end there. So we're going to see if this thing is even capable of flying into space. It's got about a quarter of a load in the cargo hold right now. So first things first, let's just double check that the turrets are off. I'm going to turn the gravity generator on. I am going to put it in flight mode. We're going to go ahead and unlock the connector and have a seat. So let's fire up the main engines, the atmospheric engines, unlock. Is this thing still connected? Why am I not moving here? Oh, the flight mode thing actually automatically That's right, I put that on the timer block. That's right. Alright, so I think the flight profile for this is going to have to be more or less that we go straight up. Oh yeah, I unloaded the auxiliary ships from this as well. So we're going to go pretty much straight up until we start losing speed. And then we'll have to kick in the hydrogen and ion thrusters at that point and see what that does. We'll have to angle the nose up once we do that. But for now, we're just going to go kind of straight up. I feel like we're already kind of running out of some steam here. Yeah, we are. Alright, so let's kick on. That's not what I want to do. The other thrusters. Does she have the speed? Not really. I think we might need more hydrogen thrusters, to be honest, but that's not good. Yeah, she's not gonna make it. It's really challenging. Oh, we're gaining speed. Did we reach some sort of critical? Oh, we're falling. That's why. I was like, did we reach some sort of critical? No, we're just falling. More ion thrusters might help too, but there's just like not much room to put more thrusters on is the issue here. And we're really heading towards a mountain here. It's kind of challenging. Oh dear God. Let's try to cut some of that speed off there. It's kind of challenging to get enough velocity here. There's probably some flight profile that would more or less do it. Why am I not picking up? I mean, we're still basically free falling. Okay, there we go. We're picking up speed again. I was going to say, those engines never kicked back in. I'm going to try a more shallow approach here, I guess, and see how this does. We still have lots of hydrogen. I really don't mind wasting hydrogen here. Perhaps there's some combination here where we can get enough velocity going. If I had the speed mod turned off, any ship would be able to make space with just hydrogen thrust. I mean, ion atmospheric. I'll get it right eventually. Any ship would be able to do it then because we could just reach a high enough speed that we'd accelerate at. You know, like a real rocket would. You just go faster than what gravity pulls you down, and Bob's your uncle. And we don't need any hydrogen on the return flight, so I'm not super concerned about that. We're losing a little bit of speed here, but I'm going to angle the nose down just a hair and see if we can keep it in an equilibrium here. This kind of approach might actually work. We're starting to lose some of the planetary gravity, which means I don't know at what altitude ion thrusters actually start doing some good. Alright, I feel like we're falling again because we're over 100 meters per second. And are we heading right towards the mountain again? Sure are. Yeah, those thrusters, when they kick out the atmospheric thrusters, it just screws us over for gaining any altitude here. Well, let's try to not crash. Damn, this ship just will not recover. There they go. That was probably the atmospheric engines kicking in. I really wish these ion engines were slightly less useless. Come on, ship. You're really letting me down here, ship. So really, more hydrogen thrusters are really the only way we can go. I'm trying to think of where I could even add more. I wish there was a nice calculator available. Like I've mentioned it before, MechJeb in Kerbal Space Program was always really useful for figuring out if you had enough thrust or not. See, it's so weird because now those thrusters have a lot of thrust right now. But they're going to just run out on us, and then they take forever to recover. Man, I wish we could get a little, like, it's just, this ship doesn't have a lot of profile behind it. The other one, of course, has a ridiculous amount of thrust. Planet's doing weird stuff down below us. There it goes. Kind of don't want to fly too close to this pirate base. You know, taking off over the ice might be a little easier, because that way if we screw up, we can recover just a little bit easier. Now, I really need to watch my acceleration over there. If we start losing speed, that's when I need to be worried. It's just we can't quite get going fast enough in a straight line here. Because if I cut those engines, what happens now? Yeah, now we're falling. Yeah, there they go. They just cut out. So it seems like that's as high as we're going to get on those engines. What happens if we just go straight up? We have probably nowhere near enough thrust. Yeah, we're... Probably adding one large hydrogen thruster would be enough. But I just don't know where it would actually go on this thing. Alright, so after that failure, we've returned to base. I'm going to grab this, and I've been thinking about how this could possibly be done. And there's really only one answer, which is take out the middle three of these hydrogen thrusters, these ion thrusters. The solar panels are going to have to go. Relocate the gun. Put one large thruster here. I can then relocate a couple of those ion thrusters down below on the bottom side of the hull, and hopefully that will give us the thrust we need. to actually make orbit this time. So I'm gonna get to town here, removing some crap. Alright, so I believe the redesign work is complete. We're refueled. I added one large thruster here. I think everything's grouped and piped up correctly. And then down here I added just 2 more of the ion thrusters to compensate for the one I removed. I had 6 thrusters in every direction, and there's only 5 going forward now, but that's fine. Once we're in space, it shouldn't be such a big deal. And stopping is more important than going usually anyway, so I'm fine with that. I'm just going to leave this ship parked right where it is, and let's head on up here and do this again and hopefully have a little more success this time. I have not changed any of the cargo configurations. Let's just make sure everything is manually good to go. And have a seat. We're going to fire up the atmospheric engines, disengage the clamps. I think... Did it What is locked? I am confused. It's supposed to unlock. There we go. I have to check the grouping on that. It seems like it's kind of messed up. So, we're gonna get some good old-fashioned altitude going here. And try to go more or less straight up. I'm going to turn on the hydrogen thruster in a minute here. Once we start slowing down, actually let's just activate that bad boy right now. I did the wrong one. There we go. Come on. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. How quickly is that? Now, I did have about 10k of ice on board, so it's making more hydrogen as we go here, but we are losing a little bit of velocity here. Oops. I gotta remember my buttons here. We gotta get to some sort of speed that... Oh, come on, hydrogen thruster. Go, go, go. You son of a... I think I took too aggressive of an angle that time. So what we're going to do is not head towards the mountain. We're going to head over this way at a less ridiculous angle. And we're still losing speed at a disturbing... I might need to put a hydrogen thruster to get some lift on here too, unfortunately. Because I can't really angle the way I want to angle here. It's just real difficult to get enough speed going with this thing to break free of gravity's terrible, terrible bond. I don't really know how much more room I have to put anything else on here. Like, it took some kind of creative thinking to figure out, and it's getting like kind of funky and tall. Well, we're just gonna burn this way and see how it goes. We probably do need a lift engine because it doesn't have enough lift going straight up. It's gonna need like a combination of the two, I think. Alright, so we're holding steady at a speed now. Losing a little bit of speed is okay. I wish I knew what absolute altitude I was here. And I also wish I knew at what altitude the ion thrusters will kick in and give us a little bit of a kick in the pants here. Because we could sure use it. It's hard to tell if we're making any headway here or not, really. We have not started to lose any of the gravity like that. The altimeter is useless because it's just telling us about the mountains that are below us, which I don't care about. Well, I mean, I care about them as so far as to not crash into them, but I don't care. There's just no way to know what my ground speed is, so I'm going to angle up just a little bit here. We're keeping at maximum speed, which seems promising. Not lost an iota of our gravity yet, though. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn on the artificial gravity. That's fine, we'll do that if and when we ever get out of the stupid atmosphere here. Now, I'm going to angle up a little bit more, because we're still at maximum speed here. This ship might be able to pull this off with like a 45-degree thing. I'm not real sure. Like 22.5 degrees, 45 degrees, who knows? There's literally... Okay, we're losing speed now. Gaining speed still. So that's kind of what we want to maintain, is that balance of losing and gaining speed. We're just kind of sliding across the planet, aren't we? We're never going to get this thing off the ground like this. How annoying. Yeah, we're just going to slide around the whole planet like this. Because I do not quite have enough thrust to actually lift off here. Yeah, there it goes. We just lost the atmospheric engines. We're losing speed, but it's hard to tell how significant it is, really. I guess until we start falling, we're just going to hope for the best. We might be falling. It's impossible to actually tell. We're still not under 1G, so haven't made any progress towards actually leaving the atmosphere here. This is ridiculous. Well, maybe I'll just strip off all the extra thrusters and stuff and just call this an atmospheric ship. We do have one that can make it to space. I just feel like it's going to take so much to modify this one that it's not really worth it. I should just build a dedicated shuttle that's built specifically for that purpose. Because this one just does not have the gusto. If I angle up like this, what happens? We're just going to fall on our butt. That's what we need, is just enough thrust to lift straight up, but I don't know how many hydrogen thrusters that would actually take. And there's literally no way to calculate it without doing math in game. There's no way to do it. It just won't tell you. Alright, well, let's level this off and return home. See if we can recover at this point. I'm hoping that the atmospheric thrusters are functional enough that we'll be good to go here. We are getting kind of scary close to a mountain, so let's hydrogen thrust away from that while we still have it. I think it takes like a couple 100K of ice to fill this thing up. It's not insignificant. You know, I noticed that there don't seem to be new ships spawning in, like civilian ships. It's kind of odd. We're at 100% energy here. Let's turn off the ion thrusters since they're just utterly useless right now. Alright, well, I guess I'm flying back home. I'm trying to think. The other ship, when it's fully loaded, weighs about 4 or 5 million kilograms. So it's like 4 times as heavy as, 3.5 times as heavy as this ship. 3.5 times as heavy. And it has, I believe, 8 thrusters. So I'm thinking 2 of the large ones would probably do this. Just to get us up to where the ion thrusters start doing a little bit of good. I don't know. We could probably get up to the top of the mountain if I want to build that communications relay now. That's something. Well, we can probably, at this point, just save our hydrogen, I would think. We'll have a little less to recuperate when I get back there. So I'm gonna look the ship over, give it some thought, see if there's a way to add 2 thrusters side by side there. It'll look a little funky. I'm gonna have to redesign the whole rear end of the ship pretty significantly to get that off the ground, but I think 2 might do it, 2 of these large ones, so we shall see.